Greetings, loyal minions, beautiful humans. Welcome to the SciShow. We are here to review Furgeant, the new Moth hero in the Alliance Quest Summons portal. As always, let's check those odds. 1.2% chance of a classic hero. I do apologize if the cat just sat on the microphone and made a noise. 0.3% chance for a legendary event hero, so very low percent chance there. Legendary featured hero 1%, so not terrible for the 1% featured. We do have Guarded featured, is quite a good hero. Pepper Blue, not so fantastic, but still quite decent. Yeah, good luck in Alliance Quest for everyone participating. Furgeant looks kind of beefy and cool in that particular. It almost looks like a bit of a transformer. I don't know, I'm getting like Bumblebee vibes, don't know why. Throw that max power preview on. He's a paladin, so he gets the protect, which is good, gives you extra defense. We can see he's got the auto taunt alpha aether talent. It's quite handy as well to get that taunt. It's only for 3 turns, so not hugely effective. Probably in Rush War it's kind of handy. But outside of that, it's neither here nor there really. Turn that off. The Moth family, as we know, gives a Moth Dust for 1, 2, 3 heroes. Random enemy goes for 2, 3, 4 turns, gets a Moth Dust. The Moth Dust drops mana generation by 30%. And Mega Minion's current health is reduced by 50% each turn. Almost forgotten about that because the Mega Minions aren't too much of the meta now. If that Moth Dust is cleansed, you fall asleep and received 80% damage. So, pretty brutal family bonus. It can be countered now with certain heroes such as the Fawns especially, who will take that and turn it into mana of their own. So just be careful who you're using it against. Dodge damage special, 15% chance to dodge special skills that deal damage. As we know on defense, that's probably more like 50%. It seems to happen all the time, especially when you're about to kill someone. They get that dodge and yeah. Pretty good stats overall, very high on the defense, which works in with having the Paladin class and the taunt because you generally think he's got to be quite beefy. Now, Vigorous Aegis running at average speed. The caster gets taunt that prevents enemies from using special skills on the caster's allies for 4 turns. So a 4-turn taunt. The caster has a 50% chance to drop any received damage to 1 for 4 turns. So very Black Knight-ish vibes hanging on there. For the next 4 turns, this character deals 250% damage to a random enemy each time any other ally casts their special skill. The hit enemy falls into deep sleep and receives 80% increased damage while in deep sleep. So deep sleep is the one that lasts for X amount of damage. So up to 750 damage and then they wake up. So you can't cleanse it. They just have to take that damage. All allies get 25% mana generation for 4 turns. Okay, so at first glance, I was almost going to say, oh, this is why Gooric was nerfed a little bit because this guy will take over, but I don't think... Definitely a very strong hero. I personally think it's going to be more useful on offense than defense. And the reason for that is this part here. Any skill that relies on your allies using their special skill in X amount of turns, to me, that's really far more manageable on offense because you can make sure you take other yellow heroes and make sure they're all charged at the same time. He looks like he'd make a great tank. And don't get me wrong, he will. He's got the taunt. He can drop the damage to 1, which is really annoying. And he does that extra damage and puts people into deep sleep. However, if he hits the same target, he's waking one up. So you never know if he'll hit them, wake them up, and then put them back to sleep again, basically, with the damage. But you never know if he's going to hit random enemies, which ones he's targeting, and also the fact you need your allies to be charged within 4 turns of him. So it means you can tile dump into him to start with. Yes, he gives a bit of mana generation, so that's still handy. but you can dump tiles into him, knowing that you can let him go off 2 or 3 turns if all your tiles are in the middle before any of the other enemies fire. So therefore, he's not doing that follow-up damage and not doing the sleep. That being said, he is also very, very easily dispellable. And the thing is, with so many heroes in the game now, there's so many heroes that will dispel. There's heroes that dispel, and I know, again, we can say this for every hero that's got a good buff or an ailment. There's always dispellers, there's always cleansers. But I think that does make him a little bit of an easy target because you can just tile dump into him knowing that you've got 1 or 2 dispellers in your team. There's obviously the heroes that dispel as part of their passives as well, so that can come into it. But I just think everything he does is very, very easily dispellable with 1, his average speed, and because he's not doing any straight up damage or he's not disabling your team in any way, I think that as a tank, I don't see him really working elsewhere on defense as well because it's just so hard to time anything. But as a tank, I think you'd just be able to smash tiles into him for 2 to 3 turns. Or for him to fire, even 2 times. So just 5, 6 turns, smashing tiles into him, building up your own heroes with dispels. And he's not hurting you at all. He is speeding up the enemy, so keep that in mind, which means you don't have as much time. But at average speed, I think you'd be able to get around him if he's as a tank by doing that. Basically, just use your tiles, have a dispeller ready, and go for it. If he was doing something that also disabled you a little bit, I think it would be a much tougher as a tank. But yeah, that's my thoughts. I do have enough gems to do some summons, but I am releasing a video very shortly talking about heroes that I'm targeting. Now, I think he would be quite good on offense, but I do have plenty of yellow heroes at the moment, and I can't see him making an extra special team with anyone, so I won't. But as I said, I will make a video on that. I am also traveling later this week. So today's Monday. On Thursday, I'm actually traveling away for a few days. I'll still try to put out everything as per normal, but just keep in mind there might be a few delays in certain things, or the times that my videos get released may just be slightly different because of that. But regardless of travel, you are my number 1 priority, so I'll make sure I continue to do everything as per normal, or as close to as I can. 12:45 Team Power 2, I didn't mention that earlier, so obviously just creeping up there a little bit as always. But that's my thoughts on Furgeant. I think a very, very good hero, more so on offense, where you can take against heroes that aren't immune to things and don't have dispellers and that sort of thing. It means you can use him as much as you want. Pair him up with other yellows. You can take advantage of that deep sleep. But I think the idea might have been to release him as a tank, and I've seen a few people say already, he's going to be amazing. I just think there's so many dispellers at different speeds that I think, straight up, Freyawaru would be an excellent hero to take against him. Has the family bonus of, I think, the mana as well. Some of those Beowulf ones have it and some don't. But she's getting charged in 4 to 5 turns just from all the buffs. So she's going to be ready to go as soon as he fires. I know not everyone has Freyawaru, but there's other heroes out there that will be having quick dispels. I think as a tank, he's not going to make his way to the meta teams. Depending on your level, he might make an absolute fantastic tank. The level of wars that you're having. But yeah, that's my take on Furgeant. As always, give your kitty a scritch for me. I'm not going to say anything about subscribing. If you want to subscribe, you'll subscribe. If you enjoy what I do, go check out my other videos. There's plenty there in the backlog that you may find enjoyable. And have a bloody good one.